Hey guys, Coach Smith here, Pier 1 Sports, and today we're going to talk about linebacker drills. The linebacker is absolutely the most integral part of the defense. In some cases, the linebacker is the emotional leader of the entire team. In run situations, they fill open lanes between the defensive line and police underneath deep zones against quick passes in man coverage. Linebackers are most often the face of the defense, and their energy will have a direct effect on the huddle and other players. They are certainly the most dynamic athletes on the field because of the different qualities they must acquire to be effective. Tackling skills, speed and tenacity to pursue with intensity, ability to tolerate and shed blocks, cover skills, intelligence, and most importantly, leadership. Regardless of size, if your athletes obtain these talents, then they can have success in any type of defensive scheme. Size has absolutely nothing to do with the intensity and mentality it takes to play the toughest position on the field. Playing linebacker is more about movement and attitude. When designing your linebacker drills, it is vital to understand the position demands and movements so that the training will transfer to the field. Deceleration and lateral movement are probably the most important aspects of training when designing your blueprint to develop linebackers. Save the 40-yard dash and pro agility drill for the combine. If you want your athletes to make plays on the field, then your linebacker drills need to focus on lateral position movement. Speed does kill, but if you cannot move laterally, then you will never be in position to make plays. Obtaining the ability to absorb and create force when decelerating and reaccelerating can only be developed through decelerative strength exercises. The following decelerative strength exercises will help prevent injuries and enhance change of direction capabilities during your linebacker drills. One is lateral lunges. Lateral lunges work on hamstrings, quads, and hips, allowing the athlete to move fast and explosive laterally. You can use dumbbells, kettlebells, or even a barbell. When first introducing, start with an exaggerated stance, separating feet 4 feet apart, toes pointing straight ahead with a slight angle, and the athlete needs to understand beforehand that they do not want to fall into the lift but rather be able to control the weight. On the descent, take a small breath, storing it in your core, causing your abs to brace for contact. The first movement should be the athlete sitting with their hips back, done initially by the glutes. Hinge the hips first and then allow the knee to bend, keeping the opposite leg straight. Make sure that players are not allowing their knees to buckle inward, but follow a pattern that maintains their knees in direct alignment with their feet. Also make sure that athletes do not bend at the waist and keep a strong chest and a flat back. Squat as low as possible, holding this position for a second count. Now remember this, when squatting below parallel is ideal, but not everyone is able. The focus should always be to squat as low as possible while maintaining proper body placement. Initially, most kids won't have the flexibility nor the mobility to perform a squat to below parallel. Push back through the floor to the starting position and repeat to the opposite side. Another one is angle lunges. Now these are similar to lateral lunges, but you step to a 45-degree angle forward. This is an outstanding movement that simulates a lot of linebacker drills. It will also train your athletes in other planes of motions. We also have lateral step-ups, which is one of my favorites, emphasizing the development of your hips, quadriceps, and glutes. You can use sleds for lateral steps and crossover steps. Now this might be the best exercise for lateral movement patterns. Side steps create maximum force for lateral movements, placing the athlete in a sound defensive position, have the athlete drive their foot into the ground and perform a lateral step. Coaches now make sure that they maintain a good defensive position throughout the entire drill. Utilizing the crossover step is great for simulating sport-specific movements while working the abductors. Band abduction and adduction movements are great for the following: developing hip strength and mobility, improving lateral speed and agility, strengthening your glutes, which is awesome for speed, and it's a great tool to teach proper squat form, and also for first step quickness. And lastly, we have lateral box jumps. Now, just like any plyometric exercise, your athletes must follow a progression before implementing lateral box jumps into your program. By adding box jumps, it gives your athletes an enormous amount of carryover onto the field. Now you can perform them on a low box for a speed emphasis or explosively onto a larger box. Regardless of the position-specific linebacker drills you choose to practice, your athletes will never reach their full potential without making a commitment to decelerative and lateral strength training. Remember that movement is the number one asset that a linebacker can obtain, and it can be developed with the right type of training. This is Coach Smith. Appreciate your time. PO1 Sports.